So we're gonna do a little power lunch afternoon flow here, just kind of see what's going on. If you got any charting requests or anything or any flow you want me to take a peek at, just feel free to drop it in the chat. But just kind of hang out here. It's again been a little kind of quieter for flow, but I wanted to hop on and do a stream. We did just have these mRNAs coming, so we'll take a peek at these right away. See, 1,700 contracts are coming in at the ask. Good premium. Want to see that previous open interest though. Just make sure it's not a big whale exiting at the ask. Okay, so we look good here. Net call premium spiking, 2% out of the money, good timing. We don't overlap earnings, not multi-leg. Let's take a peek at that flow here. So this one a little. So IV spikes when we come in here. Spots coming in at the ask. JT, what's up? IV, so we're up at that 73.95. Drops a little bit, 73.95 here. I don't like how it drops here at the end. You're still coming in at the ask. But then we have another spike here of it. And I wouldn't for sure say this is part of the same trade, just obviously timing's a little different. I don't like those. I don't like those with that IV decreasing there on that big chunk there, and then this could be retail too, so you never know. And then even on that kind of bigger premium one there too, that IV drops. I don't like that. I do not like that. And JT, I know I gotta show you this. I don't know if you had a chance to take a peek at it. Jeffrey, what's up? The two new channels I put in here. Let me find it there. M1, what's up? Yeah, the two new channels here. The daily gamma gaps. JT, I'm surprised you haven't said anything about it actually. We're kind of finding those gaps there, and then the net premium gaps. I'm kind of trying to do that. The thing that Limitless does there with the net call gaps and stuff, and AMD up 7% today, and we had it yesterday, but two new channels over the weekend there, so I'm excited about those channels there. Those are going to be fun. Andrea, what's up? But yeah, just kind of a lot of multi-leg stuff here. The 12-18 WRBY25 calls, a little longer term here. That spread is really jacked up there, but we'll take a peek at it just for some education here. 43% out of the money. Let's look at that flow. So if our spread wasn't as crappy here, I do like how that IV pops there and then that spot pops, but that spread is just horrendous there. Otherwise, the flow, I would say, looks good. Just that spread sucks there. See, and yeah, if any of you guys have any flow or anything you want me to take a peek at or any names, just feel free to drop them, please. Etsy, thank you. Etsy and CRM, thank you for giving me something to look at. Otherwise, it's just me kind of blabbing and trying to look at stuff. Let's look at, we'll start with Etsy and then move to CRM here. Let me just pop this down. So Etsy here. And if you guys got to pop out at any other time, feel that no worries, it's recorded. It'll be in the live stream recording. So yeah, let's take a peek here. So we're going to do Etsy, CRM, then Oracle here. So give me a couple minutes here and we will take a peek. So Etsy here. Premiums are kind of sitting bid side here, seeing a little more put volume. I just want to look at that 14-day there. So I would probably lean more bullish on this. Obviously, you had kind of a bigger net call premium day back here on the 5th. Haven't really made kind of came up and closed that essentially gap here, so you want to see it kind of move back up to that level there to close that gap. Let's see, how are we looking for highest volume contracts today? So it looks like they're hitting that 12.1950 put. A lot of bid side there. Let's see. I'm just trying to look for something here. So some more bid side call stuff there. This is probably our best option here. Let's take a peek at it. 15% out of the money, 65 days. Just not a lot of volume on these though. Let's take a peek at our open interest contracts. Still at 60 calls. So it looks like those kind of started coming back here on the 5th. So there's your hits there. That whale looks to still be in actually. It looks like they added there on the 10th. Potentially the same whale. Let's see what else we got here. That 60 call was your good one. Bid side there. 65 day one. Let's take a peek at this one. When did this start coming in? The 6th here. So some bid side action here and 32, and they're trading at about 87 today. Let's see if there's any new flow here for you on that. Actually, I want to look at the Gamma quick before I get out of the screen. So your Etsy Gamma, I'd say more favorable. Well, you're kind of in a mixed spot. You still technically have to kind of hit these higher levels. You came pretty close here to hitting those higher levels there. Do we have any other higher levels besides that? No, we don't. Yeah, I'd almost say this is more bearish looking to me with that little gap between that Gamma and that price there. But I want to look at one more thing. I'll show you on the next one here, M1. Give me 1 second here. I just want to check the flow feed here for that. So Etsy, what else do we got today? Let me get rid of this. So a lot of bid side calls today. My guess is probably profit taking with us up 1.5%. Let me just pop that price down a little bit. Yeah, I'm just kind of looking at the premiums here. I'm not seeing really anything major sticking out to me that's new today. I'm just going to pop back to the Gamma. I want to show you M1 on the Gamma here quick. So let me pop back here. So essentially, when you're looking at Gamma, so your middle line here, anything below that 0 here would essentially be the market makers pulling liquidity out of that name. And when the bars are above that middle there, they're injecting liquidity. Essentially, that's how I look at it. So good example here is, like, you can see back here, like this is a good example. This is something that would have caught my eye. So like that new channel that I made, I'm kind of trying to point this out beforehand. So essentially here, like, you'd start seeing a lot of big spikes in Etsy here, and that price is staying the same. It can take a while. So like, for example, this was back in May. We finally hit kind of that top level August and October here. I'm looking at 10. I'm like, what month is 10? October. But you can see how that price essentially comes and hits that line at a certain point there. So, like, essentially you're trading more flat here. You're seeing all that price or the Gamma increases there. You're waiting for that price to essentially come up and hit that. So now that it's kind of dropping off here, you can see that price starting to catch up to it. So essentially, at some point, that price is going to have to come down here. So Etsy would have to get down to that 38-ish level to essentially close the gap on that daily Gamma. And I'll show you, if we find a good net call premium one, I'll show you on that as well. But let's move on to CRM here, and then we'll hit Oracle for you. So CRM will start here since I'm already here. Let's see here. So flow, what's sticking out to me? So some ask side puts here. Ask side calls here. Just trying to see your big premiums. So your two big premiums, so you got a call and Sorry, the dog was coughing on the counter. I'm like, what is he doing? Yeah, just lay down and be a good boy. Anyways, so ask side put there, and that ask side call, so kind of offsetting there. Bid side put, so I'd probably look at that as bullish right away. So more bullish. Oh wait, I'm just kind of looking here. So this is what interests me right here. So you got a flow alert hit here on the 11/28/235 calls, all coming at the ask. That's heavy, premium, heavier size, I'd say. So now the thing with this one is, you had this previous open interest here. Looks like these were at 11.98, 868-ish there. So back on the 6th here. So it looks like your average was about 1107, trading at 1310. It's roughly the same volume in open interest here. So I would probably say you'd want to double check that open interest tomorrow on this one. These could be getting closed out at the ask. We'll see if we can look at the feed and get any clues on it. And I can't get any clues on this one because I don't see any increasing or decreasing IV, and you're just coming in at the ask here as well. The only decrease in IV is on one single contract here about a minute later. So you don't get a good clue on that one. But let's look at the actual feed here. So again, not a lot of premiums trade here. Let's go back 30 days and see. So again, so like the net call premiums. So essentially, I'll find a better one if we run into one. But essentially, like you see how we gapped up majorly there on the net call premiums here and here. That price essentially will have to fill that gap here. So price comes up, you fill that gap there, and then way up here you finally fill that gap there as well. Doesn't work that good with puts, just because obviously for us to fill that gap you're going to have to go up. But like for like the calls here, so anything under this middle line here is going to be bid side. So you can see how we're kind of selling off there. Price eventually catches up to that. And I've got a good example here. I'll do that after Oracle here. But so CRM, I'm not seeing anything on the net call premiums. It's not really sticking out to me there. We'll look at Gamma quick on it. So Gamma, I like the Gamma on this one. So good example here where that price is trading below those high levels there. So at some point, as almost going to say Etsy again, CRM would have to come up and hit those high liquidity levels there. So again, like you see how it's a lot of that lower negative gamma here, and prices was trending up here, and then we eventually come down and hit those levels. So the lower the levels, obviously that's kind of where you're looking for it to go. So the new divergence channel where you're catching those net call premiums and the gamma gaps should be really useful, especially for those who are really good at charting. But let's see if we can find any thing interesting in this. So yeah, that 65-day put there, probably your best, and then that 37-day call. I mean, not a lot of size on those, so I was gonna, nothing really sticking out there. And you're not really trading on a lot of volume here. You're only trading about a quarter of the 30-day volume on it today, so not a lot of premium. And your highest open interest, so you got that 12/19/320 call, only 37 traded today. So this one still looks to be open, and this one is a mid fill here. And it looks like it's a multi-leg fill there as well. Ooh, ugly multi-leg fill. So we are going to kind of ignore that. But yeah, that's, let's see. And then the 37-day, we kind of looked at that one. 1110 there. That's the one we just looked at. That's the other part of the multi-leg one. Unless I'm crazy and just double clicked it. Let's see. So the 310 one here, maybe 50. Yeah, a lot of them are multi-leg, so it's not When did this guy start coming in? There's been a lot of volume on this chain for a while, it looks like. Back in March. I can't go back that far. Yeah, would be too congested on that one anyways. Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything good for CRM there. Just ending with your premiums kind of flat there. Let's do Oracle here, and then I want to show that net call premium example here. So let me pop this back to Oracle. What are you barking at, crazy? Ah, this dog. Okay, let's see. Let's see Oracle. And actually, I did see on my opening filters, you did have a Oracle here on the 12.5 to 10 put. Not right at the ask here, but let's take a peek at how that did. So 330, let's see, so we had 2,000 contracts. There's the 2,000 again. That whale might have been in for 330 and out quick at 365. I'd want to see that open interest tomorrow. Either it's going to kind of be about that 1,000-ish value, or if they're still in, should be about 5,000-ish or so, give or take a couple. But you're down a lot today. I want to pop back here. So that was, and then that's the multi-leg one there. Let me pop back to my feed here. So Oracle. So you got some repeated hits coming in here about 5 minutes ago on the 290, 128 days out. This might pretty deep in the money. Get some ask and bid there. So a lot of bid side calls kind of coming in here as well. Let's see, so ask side calls, some longer term ones there. Ask side puts. I'm gonna pop that volume up. I kind of wanna see if we got anything at least 50,000. Kind of weed out some of this lower flow. So the puts there. So you got a lot of ask and bid side puts coming in here. Let's see, some more ask side puts there. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of ask side puts here. And you got kind of some bid and ask calls there. It's this big guy, bid side put here. So this was open today. Let's see if we can get a clue from this. Probably a block trade. So yeah, almost looks like a sell here. I mean, you're so close to the bid that IV drops technically when it comes in too. These almost look like a sell there. Let me go back in here. Let's look at our premiums. So again, you see that big drop off in that net call premium. There's your level getting hit right there. So again, it can take some time, but it eventually got hit there. I want to go back 30 days and see if we can. Yeah, so everything's closed, at least gap-wise there, and above you're pretty much closed all there too. So premium-wise, I mean, you just see it's flat essentially there. Let's see it gamma-wise. So yeah, I mean, it almost looks more downside-y to me here. I mean, more downside there, but premiums aren't really showing anything super interesting there. Let's go back. I just want to look at the one more thing. Yeah, just a lot of bid side stuff. Not getting a really good clean read on anything here. I mean, bid side puts in, that's probably profit taking there. Highest open interest contracts here. So that 37-day looks like there's some volume on it. Bid side today. Yeah, a lot of bid side on that one. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything super good for Oracle. I do want to show kind of like the SPY net call premium, since we're kind of talking about that too. So let's go back here. So you can see essentially those big spikes in that net call premium. Price eventually will come up and hit that level here, and we're still waiting for that price to kind of come down and hit this other shorter lower level here as well with here too, because it did close this gap essentially there. So still have a couple downside net premium gaps to kind of cover there, close in that area. So yeah, that's kind of those three. Let's see what else we got coming in here. Let's look at these. Okay, we'll look at more of these WRBYs. Let's look at these. These are coming in above the ask as well. Okay, so this one you'd want to double check that open interest tomorrow for sure. 4,035, 4,020. Yeah, you have to double check that open interest. Would want to see it about that 8,000-ish, otherwise they got out there at the ask. We'll see if we can get any clues from the flow though. 66, so it's increasing the whole time, so it reads as a buy. Yeah, and have to just double check that open interest tomorrow to confirm that. Let's look at these paths. The 12, 19, 15 call. $1.20 for the fill, 1,000 contracts. Already a lot of volume on it though, so we'll see if we can see something sticking out here. So multi-leg 44%. Already gonna when I see anything over 10, I kind of just click out of it right away, but we can take a peek at it. So 86. So that IV is just kind of all over the place on this one. 86.55, then it drops. Yeah, I don't like that IV dropping like that. Let's continue looking here. So 85, 86, and then you see that IV drop there. IV pops, then it drops again. Yeah, these might be sells at the ask. I don't like how they look to me. And just kind of with the multi-leg too. How do we look on this? I mean, you could see a little movement up to fill that kind of gap essentially. Let's see. So yeah, I mean, there's a little room to the upside there, maybe about that 17-ish level. About that 1750-ish or so, give or take. So if those are buys though, I like how they're coming in a cluster like that, and it's not coming in on a big spike or a big green day where it's going to be interesting. You can see that price starting to kind of move back up to that. So those I will put in our one channel. So 1 second here. Definitely interesting flow, but I have to check that open interest in that multi-leg. Just I don't like that multi-leg. Let's get this in there. Alright, let's look at the JMIAs. The 11-21-11 calls. So a little wider bid-ask spread. You're coming in at the ask. Definitely going to probably be an opening trade here. We'll just double check it though. So a lot of open interest already, but double check. Yeah, this is for sure an opener. So, okay, IV spikes when it comes in there. We're at 142.50. 42.50. I'm just trying to see where that descending fill is. I want to make sure it's not a big chunk of that. So, okay, one contract at 49. Not a problem here. Now the part I don't like here is you see that IV decreases then here. So that almost reads as a call sell to me. Because your gap was closed there. Your price is extended above that net call premium there. Oh, did they have earnings today? Interesting. Yeah, and gamma wise here too. I mean, it's showing a little more downside there to me. I mean, look at those massive spikes, and that price did eventually come up and hit that. Oh yeah, I think earnings came in. Was it the 12th? Yeah, today. Yeah, that was the CEO there, M1, that sent that out yesterday on that newsletter. Yeah, I mean, your prices really obviously diverged there, and would like to see that catch up to maybe these lower levels here, about that 6-ish. Yeah, earnings are not fun to play. Earnings are not fun to play. So those, I almost think they're sells at the ask with that IV decrease. I mean, you decreased here once, twice, so let's take a peek at. Okay, and we had some EQT calls come in. So we got some coming in at the bid here. Most at the ask. We'll take a peek. Premiums are both ask side there. We'll take a peek at BA for you next. So, okay, IV jumps there on EQT. So 36. So IV is staying up that entire time, then it drops again here, and then you drop again here. And then we pop up here, and then here's your big size, and massive drop in the IV. And these were actually posted in, I believe it was the net call ones last night. Look at how far down we have to go to essentially close those gaps. And let me just pop this out 14 days. Long ways down to get to those gaps, so that is something to keep in mind there. And then I believe the gamma on it also looked a little bearish yesterday. Yeah, you're nothing major here. I mean, you're pretty much slightly in line there with it. But yeah, I almost want to say these are sells at the ask. Let's take a peek at BA here. Let's pop this open. So Boeing here. Yeah, just a lot of put premium here. A little call premium that you got to catch up to there at some point. Highest volume contracts today. Seen a lot of volume on the 11/21/205 call. Let's take a peek. Already kind of moved there a little bit. So IV drops. Then your spike here on the floor trader there. So that looks like a buy with that spike there. And obviously moving up a little bit there now. I want to see what that other one was. The 205? Nope. 2-day one. Too much volume there to even kind of know. Yeah, 2 days. Things a little short termer there. some put volume on this guy. When did this start coming in? Back on the 6th. So that looks like a, let's take a peek. So these look like put cells actually. Let's open them at 285, drop down. So yeah, again, when you're selling puts though, you just need them to expire out of the money or at 0. So obviously there's some time on those. So I'd lean those as bullish there when we looked at those. Let's take a peek at Gamma for you. Yeah, a little downside. You could see some downside movement with the Gamma there. Yeah, everything's pretty much lined up otherwise. Yeah, just that downside there, I'd possibly look for with the Gamma. Yeah, that's, I want to look at the chart. Yeah, chart-wise, I mean, for your support, you're kind of breaking out of that. We're at it marked there, but you're just kind of within that little channel here, little wedge here, whatever you want to call it. But obviously rejected there, rejected there. We must have talked about this on another live because usually I never chart Boeing. Yeah, see if you can get down here, maybe. See if you hit that 160-ish. Maybe get another airplane engine to fall off or something. But yeah, essentially, I mean, even just kind of extending this. Oops. Come here. Okay, we'll extend it like that. We just kind of extending it like that. I mean, like you said, you're in a kind of good support spot, but kind of seems to be breaking out of that there as well. You could even also draw up from November of last year. I mean, you're sitting on a little trend line there as well too. So I'd say you're still in some support right now, but you'd want to kind of see it bounce now. I mean, your RSI is pretty much oversold and all that as well too. Yeah, that's a interesting chart. Boeing is not one of my favorites to trade because that thing sucks usually. But yeah, I'd say a good support spot there, but my data's kind of aiming more downside on that. Let's see what we got coming in here. Both these IAG 115.27s. A lot of size, good premium, definitely an opening trade. Up 7% on the money, 70% of the money is kind of far. Got 2 years on it. Yeah, your price hit, your price is extended. I don't like it 70% out of the money though. 296, looking good there. Yeah, I think you're more extended on that. That almost looks like a lotto ticket to me there. I mean, 70% out of the money. $15 stock, you'd have to have a lot of patience on something like that. Pretty much coming in at the high of the day. Yeah, I don't think I'm a fan of those. How about our ETF flow? Too small of size there. The QQQ calls, either was I. Oh man, yeah, Nat posted here that I think it was a 12.5632s. Let me just check here. 12.5632s. Those are just kind of choppy. Yeah, you just got everything kind of moving up slowly. Those SPY puts here. I looked at these, and the reason why I didn't post these is because, we'll see if everybody can take a guess. Here's your IV, you drop, your spot drops a little bit there, and kind of have a little more size here a couple minutes later. Might not be part of the trade, you never know, but our initial whale here, that IV was dropping, that spot's dropping, and you can see your contracts are down here. I actually saw a couple people on X post these, and I'm like, they are not good. You do not look at the flow. Yeah, so those, I didn't like those. Obviously something could happen and we could tank into close, never know, but from a contract standpoint, I didn't like those. And the golds from earlier, these, when it's already up so much on the day, and obviously it's up a lot more now, it's hard to kind of know if it's them just getting filled with the ask and they're selling it. But looks like this was a, so 342, 56, 70, 7,800 about, give or take. So I think that whale got in here about that 340-ish, 512, and then got out here at 654 because it's still kind of running there. So I have to check that volume on that. But I think there was also, no, that was the same one. The 400 calls, maybe? No, oh, big multi-leg. Yeah, so you look at so much flow, and it all kind of runs together at a certain point. See what the tide's doing here. So your out of the money premiums flat. All put premiums pretty much flat. Out of the money calls, bid side, all calls pretty, little ask side kind of flat. AMD, Netflix, Hood leading, Meta, Tesla, Circle, your bearish ones, more call volume. So you take out Tesla, Meta, this is probably bid side. You take out AMD, this is bid side. So you're not getting a lot of action here today. And let's take a peek. Yeah, we got 2 hours to go. Yeah, about half of the daily volume on the S&P. I mean, you're flat. Roughly half. A little more than half. A little more than half. About half. Way below that level there. Yeah, I mean, some of the volumes here in some of your sectors, but most of it is just kind of, I mean, your overall volume is kind of flat here. Let's see if we can, oops. Let's see if we can find anything on the map here. Let's take a peek here. I gotta switch this back to volume. So NVIDIA, what are we? So a lot of volume today, and we're down 0.5% about. So NVIDIA has some room to move up here to close that net call premium gap there. So that's an interesting one there. You still have, that downside one was closed already. We're looking, I don't like NVIDIA because we got earnings coming up, I was going to say just next week. A little overextended from that. Yeah, I'd probably have to wait till earnings on that. Let's look at Pfizer here. Yeah, I mean, you could see even yesterday that net call premium. So now Pfizer, I'd be kind of looking for a pullback to this level at some point there. And I was just looking at another one. I want to look at AMD because that was posted. I'm gonna see if we can find that here. Let me do the 14 days. So let me pop this back over here. And I like having all these channels with everything in it because then I can at least, I have it all saved essentially. So your net premium for AMD here. So we're looking at the 10th and the 11th. So Friday, what day is it today? Oh no, Monday and Tuesday. I was like, so Monday and Tuesday is looking bullish there. And let's see if they filled. So Monday, Tuesday, there you are, and then your price obviously really filled today with it up more, but it's starting to trend down with that price. So I would say there's probably not a lot more room to go there, but like if you would have gotten these, even back on, yesterday would have been kind of tough, but we ran pretty much at open, but like if you would have noticed this on Monday, and that price is kind of aligned with it then, so it's not the best example there. Let me, so at the time, why does mine look a lot different here? Hold on, am I crazy? So when I posted this, I mean, you can see that price was not in line with that at all. I must be going crazy or something. So, okay, well, essentially, if you would have saw these on the 10th here, you could have got in on the 11th here and then rolled that up. That's what I was trying to kind of get at there. But when I look at it here and all the prices there, I don't know why it's looking like that. It might just be with how it ran up today as well. But that was a good little catch if we were caught that. Let's see what else we got coming in on the market map. Let's look at 4. That's kind of sticking out there. I'm gonna put premium. Let's just pop the 7 days. So again, close that gap. Yeah, you're in line with levels there. Obviously, you got a bigger level here up at that almost 16-ish level. Needs to get hit still, a lot of stuff. So you can see how this is from March. We haven't even came close to that yet. It's slowly kind of trending up there. Let's see what else we got. Tesla. Yeah, not really much there. All your levels kind of getting hit already there. Gamma, yeah. Little downside there. I mean, all your upper levels are hit there. Let's do Apple. So Apple, I'd be kind of looking for probably a potential pullback because your level was hit there. Bid side premiums there. Not a massive drop off. Well, that one's a massive drop off there. You have a long ways to go down to hit that level. Yeah, and Gamma, yeah, you're pretty much in line here. Not a massive divergence there. Yeah, just pretty much split bid ask. So these puts are kind of interesting to me. You got 66,000, most of that's ask side. So let's take a peek at these. So 45% out of the money, you got 65 days. Alright, come on. Alright, why are you not cooperating with me? Just want to see what that kind of average was. Let's see. So the 14th. So we're going to go look at God, there's a lot of volume on this thing. Or a lot of open interest there. Yeah, just kind of zooming out here now. It's kind of looking a little junky now. Just a lot of contracts changing hands there. Let's see if it'll let me try to go back to that guy with 500 contracts. Yeah, sometimes when you try to go back and there's so much volume and open interest on something, it doesn't always pull it. But yeah, I'm gonna probably pass on those actually. I just was curious when I saw those. 300 calls, 70%. So you got two bigger calls here, and again, they all have a lot of open interest in them, so it's hard to track an exact bull here. Yeah, there's just so much volume, you can't even tell when the original whale came in and when the original exited. This one, the 100-day one, a little easier because that all came in here on the 31st. So let's pop this back. 31st there. 7% in the money. Kind of green, yeah, slightly green now on those. But yeah, so nothing really interesting for Apple. CMG maybe? Yeah, price could come back up here and hit that net call premium level there at some point. Did hit that lower level there. A lot of volume coming in on those 12, 19, 32 5s today. So 37.88. So these look like buys here because you got that good volume and size and premium coming in here at the end with that IV spike. I like these. Again, 84. They're trading about 86 right now, so sitting pretty much break even there. Yeah, definitely an opening trade there. Do one more check here of some stats on it. Yeah, so you're coming back up, you finally hit those lower levels kind of there. Obviously a little lower gamma level there to hit. But for the most part, it looks like you hit everything else here. You're just kind of trending there as well. Let's pull up Celsius for you then, JT. I'm going to get a drink here quick. JT is kind of the one that put me on to the gamma and all that fun stuff as well too. No, not yet. Not yet. I still gotta go to the gym after the market closes, so nope, no bar yet. No bar yet. Big jug of water right now. Let's go look at Celsius here. I'm gonna close out. So I'd say yeah, almost Chipotle looks kind of good there a little bit. Alright, let's get out of here and go look at Celsius. So yep, JT, and I trust your read already. I probably don't even have to look at it yourself, but yeah, you're looking for that price to come up and hit that level here. So have to get that rise up there. You got call volume building there. A lot of ask side volume here on calls. This looks really good to me right away. Obviously some of that moving already there. 128 days out there. That guy's still in. 76 on the 9 days. Yeah, I like this, especially if you can see that one carry over here. Ooh, we had some volume yesterday. Let's kind of look at this. So this original one, so the 7th. So the 11th, so that somebody else bought those contracts yesterday. It's not a big change in that open interest there. Still like that setup though. Let's see, so that was the 45. Let's look at the 46. Bid side. Highest open interest of that 37.5. There's only one traded on it today. When did all that start coming in? Oh man. Yeah, we're not gonna get back to that. What is this? That's new. Transfer due to consolidation of flex option. Oh, okay. I was like, what is that? I was like, I've never seen that symbol on there before. Okay, so you're up obviously still today. So Gamma looking for it. Yeah, nope, you hit your level there. I was gonna say you still got a little ways to go up there. Yeah, just Gamma. I mean, a little lower there, but with that, I like the net call premiums there a little bit more there. Just gotta come up here and then at least fill that gap there. And you're seeing a lot of bullish there. A lot of bullish contracts coming in there. What are you trading at here? So that's the day you got killed there. So that was earnings there for that. Oof. 2 days. So I mean, 31% in a couple days, and then you came back up 7%. Yeah, you're starting to make that up there. Let's take a peek at it. Yeah, I was gonna say, it looks like you're settling kind of in this little area here. Look at it on the weekly. Oh god, it's an ugly weekly chart. Yeah, how much did we miss it by? Reported. Yeah, your revenue made it though. Those names, when it's always a negative earnings per share, I usually just, God, it's because it missed by. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I see what you mean here. I mean, it's not a huge. You're almost at the consensus there. It just looks a lot worse because it's such a smaller earnings per share there. Ugh, yeah. But you see that number, you're like, I'm dumping that. I'm just kind of looking. I wish it would have broke that uptrend here though. And that was on that earnings day, I believe. We'll double check it. Yeah. I mean, if you can reclaim that trend line there, because you're sitting in that good demand spot here, like you said. Yeah, you get some good flow. Yeah, you're absolutely cooked on the RSI too. How's our volume? Yeah, lighter volume today though. Coming up to that 200 day. You could almost take that as a momentum with the break above that 200. Yeah, I mean, you're getting that. I mean, that net premium, those gaps have to fill at some point. Let's see what we got coming here. Not much. 30 days on these NVIDIAs. Let's do, I think we looked at those already. Yeah, there's not a lot of flow coming in. 12-12-205 call. Couldn't overlap earnings. You're not going to be able to track this whale in 24,000 volume. Guarantee we're not going to see them. Yeah, you don't know what's what in something like this. And NVIDIA, though, we were just kind of looking at that. Like to see that price kind of come back up at some point there. I think there was another big spike here. No, everything else is pretty much essentially hit there. Except for that guy right there. right on the 10th there. So you want to see, that might be a good little earnings bet, little earnings lotto play on something like that. I need to look at that one more time. Would not trade earnings in a serious manner ever though, but with earnings coming up, we gotta fill that gap. Could see a move up there. Be kind of nice, and that one down there has been filled as well. Yeah, JT, I really like that. The little net premium gap thing. I was talking to Limitless too about it actually, because I was sitting there looking at it. I'm like, how does he do puts? Because obviously puts for it to, let's see if I can find one. Like puts here, like if you're gonna technically connect with that, well, this one's not a good one because it's up obviously, but let me see if I can find one from earlier. Just want to find a put one. Nope. Nope. Come on, just give me a good put. Maybe BE. Yeah, so like, because when I was talking to him, I'm like, I was trying to figure it out. I'm like, he has to only look at calls because the call part's easy. Obviously, you want that your price to come up and hit the call there, and if it's bid side, then you wait for that price to come down and hit the call there. But puts, for to close the gap, the price would have to go up, and obviously that's not what you want if you're in puts. So I was like, do you look at it at the puts? And he's like, no, I just look at it at calls. I was like, that's what I thought. I was sitting there looking through his feed and I couldn't find it. I'm like, I can't find anything on puts. Yeah, I never thought of that. Yeah, I was, because I'm like, where's the put? I mean, because for obviously when there's a rise in puts, but he told me that you typically will see more volatility on the calls. So yeah, and the gamma too. I like the gamma. It can take a long time for it to catch up to. It seems like the net premiums typically you'll kind of start to see that movement maybe within a couple days. I mean, look at AMD. That thing popped in 2 days. I should have grabbed some calls on it. Oh, what are we doing here? Nothing good there. How are we sitting here? I gotta refresh this. Sit neutral still? Hey, there we are. We're still neutral. Still neutral on that. Seasonality. Yeah. I mean, we should have a green month. Man, just a boring couple of days of flow. I'm sitting here trying to get stuff in there, and I'm like, I snaked some of these Google calls a little earlier and just took them for a quick 10%er. But let's see, so they 108 and hit 123 there, so decent little return on there for a quick little pop. That MRK setup, I want to look at this again, because this was, I took this as a quick momentum entry there at that open there, because you're 364, you got to pop there to that 425, but I want to pull up that chart. I kind of want to show everybody not Ethereum. And exactly why I said I wanted to adjust that stops up there on that one. Let's do the 4 hour here and take a peek at it. Nope, we'll look at the daily. So those, I mean, you had that break out of that zone from 91. You came up and hit 92. That's a dollar move. That's a good move on a $90 stock. And then, let me go back here. I mean, MRK looked like a beautiful setup here. I mean, your first massive day of net call premium. Now you're seeing it kind of tail off here. We'll probably see a pullback here at some point. But looking at the internals here, and I gotta look at that here. So a lot of volume today too as well. So might see some profits kind of coming off there. Oh shit, where'd we go? Here we go. MRK. Let's look at our internal. So, okay, we looked at the net call premiums. Yeah, when you looked at the highest volume contracts, well, not from today, I'll pop it up here quick. When you look at that from yesterday, look at your highest volume contracts. Majority of them all ask side calls. So I mean that's a pretty easy, quick little layup setup there. But looking at gamma as well too. A lot of increasing gamma, so you still could see a little move up here over some time. Obviously, that whale, 156 days out there. And then we also had the BE as well. I gotta clean up some of these tabs. Give me a second here. BE. So BE looked really interesting here, and I snagged a couple of these too. BE, I wanted that break of that, and on the 4-hour chart here. Actually, we're gonna decrease it because it looks kind of ugly there. I mean, you get, okay, we're gonna do 5 minutes, sorry. I mean, you see that open there, and you get that break of that momentum, and I figured we're gonna go and fill that possible gap there, but we dropped it. I mean, that was a 124 down to about 118 there, $6 drop. I honestly thought we were going to bounce back for a day here just after getting crushed yesterday, but obviously we're kind of coming back a little bit now. I mean, that thing primed for a quick short there with that break and then that little gap fill. And then again, the internals on that, and that guy's still in there too. I might have to grab some more of those. So looking at our internals here, let's go over to the gamma. The gamma's nasty on this one. This one screams downside here. I mean, your high levels are all hit. Very, very minimal. I mean, that's looking like a pullback to like 60s at some point there. What do we got here? Yeah, about 79, 73-ish at some point. But yeah, I took those as a quick little momentum entry there off that little break. Clean those up. Yeah, two good little trades there. And I mean, enough time to get up there. I mean, the 150 some days, you can always re-enter on something like that too, but just kind of looking at your chart here, you want to get out of that zone there though. That's the only issue, and said you're kind of rejecting it. I had that resistance at that 95.41, a couple dollars off, but came in kind of close. Still a lot of time on those two. I'm one of those people that when I see profits, I'm gonna probably take profits. So I'm probably gonna stop leaving notes in the flow and charts thing, because then everybody's gonna think everything's a day trade. So I'm gonna probably stop leaving notes in there and let people kind of make their own decisions. But CoreWeave puts here, let's see, opener, 2 days. I don't really care too much about the net premium there. 10% multi-leg, it's on the fringe of it. $81, how far are these out of the money again? Let's see. So okay, IV spikes, IV drops a little bit there. How far were these out of the money? 6% out of the money. Probably pass on those. Theta's going to be aggressive there, and you're already down 3%. But does anybody have any other flow there? Oh, let's look at these RGTIs quick. Bigger bid-ask spread. Premium. Okay, I'm going to check that open interest and volume here. Oof. Getting killed today. 28%. So these came in on the 5th. Yeah, this may be 562, so 1400, another 1400 there. Let's see if we can get a clue at all from this. 1596. You have to check the open interest on this one, because if this carries over, this will average down from 562 to 1 there. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Yeah, not a whole lot. That might just be them getting out there at the ask there. Yeah, I have to check that one tomorrow. But, well, let's look at these Quebs here. 618.26. Closer to the ask, we'll take a peek. So no multi-leg. Yeah, flow. So the IV, so that bid-ask spread might truly be that 390 there. Hard to kind of tell there. How do the internals look? So again, there wasn't much for the premiums. More upside premium than anything there. Oh wait, nope, we hit, looks like that dump there probably. So we did come down and hit that. Yeah, I don't know. I should ask Limitless there. Yeah, purple stop sign. Let me pop back to that chart here for you in a second. I should ask Limitless here. I wonder if it's still technically in play if it drops like that, because you did fill it to the downside essentially, but not to the upside there. So I'm curious. I'm gonna have to ask him that one. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this and ask him. I'll just do some ugly circles here. Yeah, that's an interesting one to me there. Yeah, purple stop sign. If you come up and hit, zoom in here on like the 4 hour, you can already see you're kind of rejecting off that uptrend there. See if I can kind of zoom in. And yeah, I mean, see, we hit it almost right there on that hour there. So, I mean, it's got about another $12 to drop there if you like it. I'm probably not going to re-enter. I usually don't re-enter it. I mean, you're bear flagging here on the 1 hour too. See it bear flagging up right. Oops. Essentially just like that. I mean, lower volume too. So almost maybe look for a break below that one as well too, if you really like that. But whoops. But if anyways doesn't have any other flow they want me to take a peek at, I'm gonna probably hop off here, get the market tied up and all that stuff before power hour. But alright, nothing else really coming in yet. Pretty quiet overall. Let's see here. Kind of clean up some stuff. But alright, everybody, thanks for hanging out. I'll catch everybody later.